is you could have just factored that negative sign out right at the beginning. So I would go from here to here and did this. Everyone understand why these two expressions are the same? I've divided everything by -1, including the 0. Divided by -1, it stays 0. Any questions there? All right, so now if I leave that negative on the outside, I can just go ahead and factor this. I don't have to worry about the negative sign. So I'm going to say 2x, and I'm going to say x. For the 1, there's only two options, 1 and 1. And now I just need to decide, this is going to give me x, and this is going to give me 2x. I need to decide what signs these need to be -3x. Well, they both need to be negative. So therefore, the negative signs come in here, and we get negative 2x minus x, sorry, 2x minus 1, and x minus 1. If we multiply these out, we'll keep that negative again on the outside. We get 2x squared minus 2x minus x is minus 3x. And then -1 times -1 is +1. Now we're going to redistribute the negative sign to every single term. And we get negative 2x squared plus 3x minus 1. Now, same answer. I like this one better, personally, Lucas's way. He just dealt with the negative sign as he saw it. This way was one extra step. I divided the negative sign out. But if it means getting the right answer and taking that one extra step, you can do it this way. Finally, I'm going to do it by composition, decomposition. Okay, decomposition, remember, is when we decompose the middle term into two other terms. All right, so I'm going to use this same method where I'm factoring out that negative sign, so you don't have to worry about it. Now I'm going to factor this term using decomposition. So with decomposition, the product has to be 2 times 1, and the sum has to be equal to -3. Okay, so how do I figure this out? Divide this by 1 equals 2. Can I use 1 and 2 to make 3 somehow? Yes, they both need to be negative. So my two numbers are going to be -1 and -2. So,
Sir, isn't it supposed to be plus 3x?
no, because I factored out the negative sign and made it negative. See that? I divided each term by -1. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here I know my two numbers are -1 and -2, so I'm going to get -1x and -2x. Doesn't matter the order. And then plus 1 equals 0. So this 3 has been decomposed into these two terms. Now I need to factor these individually. So I'm going to again leave that negative sign out. What's common between 2x squared and x? I get x, and I'm left with 2x minus 1. What's common between these two ones? Nothing. Okay, so I'm just going to get plus 2x, or actually we'll subtract. We'll divide out the -1 here. Okay, and we'll get positive 2x minus 1 equals 0. Now, leaving the negative on the other side, now what's common here is this binomial, 2x minus 1, and what's left is x minus 1. Same as that. Any questions? That was a whole heck of a lot of work for something that really could be done in one step, right? We just went from here to here using the crisscross method, right? This was just a check. So really, Lucas went from here to here in one step. Lucas, did you do all your homework? That's probably why. That is probably why he knows how to do this. Yep, Max.
So when you're on the box, let's say you only get to the part where it says bracket 2x, take the 1, other bracket, negative x plus 1. If you just put that, you lose marks on it, but like
You would lose marks if it said check your answer. If it didn't say check your answer, you get full marks.
so you can just leave it like that.
Yeah. I'm just checking because we got it wrong so many times, right?
But how can you box it?
Sorry. Better?
Like I said, I was just confused. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just a habit of boxing the last thing I write, but you're right. I should box the answer, not the check. Good catch. All right. That has made me a little bit sad about the factoring abilities of us. We may be in danger now of losing to Miss DeCiantis class. We can't factor. It's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a real problem. I'm telling you guys right now.
She told me to tell you that they only have 2 lessons.
2 lessons left. We're cooked. It's over. All right. Solve for the unknown. Let's see. -5. I'm failing you guys. Trying my best, but I can't help you if you don't do your homework, to be honest. Solve for the unknown. We need to move everything to one side first. That's the first step. This is -125. So everyone with me there. What's the next step? Max, what do you think? Yeah, we have to factor it. Before we try to factor this. Or yeah, you are factoring. What are you going to factor do, though?
You have to switch the sign. Like you have to move it across like the equal sign.
No. You want to factor out the 5. Yeah, who said that? Oh, it was Andrew? Okay. So yeah, we can factor out this 5, right? -5. Because we know 5 goes into 125. So we get -5. Actually, there's an easier way. We don't even... Sorry about that. I confused you guys by moving everything together. It just says solve for the unknown. So we're actually trying to solve for t. This is maybe what Max was getting at by moving things over. We want to get t, right? So we can divide both by -5 right off the bat. Okay? 125 divided by -5. This is going to cancel, so we're going to get t squared. And then what's this? 125 divided by 5?
It's 25.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So then t becomes plus or minus 5. Okay, anyone understand why it's plus or minus? Yes, you can use the 2 minuses, -5s times each other will also give you 25. So the square root of 25 is plus or minus 5. Okay, so for this, the solutions, or the zeros, or the x-intercepts would be t equals 5 and t equals -5. Those would be your solutions. It's both, yeah. Because both make this correct. All right. Next one. We need to solve for h here. So the first thing we want to do here is what? Liam, what do you think? We're going to rewrite this, but what are we going to do with that 10? Yeah, we're going to move it over, and it combines with the 14 to give me what? Sorry? No, because it's positive now. It's going to come over, and it's going to combine with the -14 to give me? Yeah, -24. Okay, that's the first step. You want to get it in standard form equal to 0. Yep. -2? Can I factor it out? Nope. Because there's no 2 in front of the h squared. Can't do anything with the 2. Because everything would need a 2 in order for you to factor it out. These two have a 2, but this does not. Okay, so I need to factor this straight up. Because there's no a value, I can just go straight to this. I know that right away. Okay, and all I need to find are my 2 numbers, and I can go right to this. If there's no a value, you can go right to 2 brackets, and you just need to find the 2 numbers that will sum the product to give you -14, or sorry, -24, and the sum to give you -2. Okay, when there's no a value here, you can go straight to two brackets and you just need to find these two numbers. So how would you do that? You could divide this by 6. It's going to be equal to 4. Can I use 6 and 4 to make 2? Yes. My 6 needs to be negative and my 4 needs to be positive. So we get h plus 4, h minus 6. That's it.
Is there another way to do it besides doing the product and sum thing?
Yeah, you could just do it with the crisscross method, right?
Oh, okay.
So you go like this, you put an h here, and then you have to put two numbers that can add up to 24, say 4 and 6. Okay, we're going to do 4h here and 6h. You know, to get negative 2, it has to be negative 6h and positive 4h, right? So this becomes positive and this becomes negative. And you get the same answer as here. Okay? Good? Any questions? 10. Write a quadratic in the form standard with roots of negative 2 and 7. Okay, what can I do here? This one's easier, I hope. Junior, you gonna get this one? These are the roots, Junior, okay? So how would you write that out in factored form? Right? Because those are the roots, so we know we can use factored form and say what?
Alright, so bracket
Yeah?
x
Yep.
minus x negative 2
Okay?
and then bracket and then plus 7. Oh, that's vertex form, sir. Okay, and then x
Yep.
in the bracket and then x
Yep.
minus 7.
Minus 7? Okay.
Doesn't that make it positive?
Yeah. But what'd you do with the minus 2?
Oh, you have to put plus 2.
Yeah, you got it. That's right. And that all equals?
0, sir.
Yeah, 0. Perfect. Okay, he's got it. Now, it wants it in standard form, though. So how do I go from factored form to standard form?
So
Junior?
that's very easy, I got you.
Here you go.
Alright, so x squared
Yep.
plus plus 2. No. Yeah, no. Minus 2 minus
Sorry?
minus 2, right?
You got to foil, Junior. You got to do this.
Oh, okay. So the first. So you can let someone else get this first.
All right, you made it halfway. Foil is from last chapter, right? What do? We have to multiply x times x squared. X times negative 7 is what?
7x.
Negative 7x. And then 2x times x, or sorry, 2 times x is? Plus 2x, yep. And then 2 times negative 7?
14.
Minus 14. Okay, and then we have to take those common terms, put them together, we get x squared minus 5x minus 14 equals 0. There's our final. Okay? Any questions with that one? All right, number 11. Write a quadratic equation with the roots negative 1/2 and 3/5 in standard form, where a, b, and c are integers. Okay, Jeds, you're going to try this one.
Okay, so I'm just gonna make it in factored form first.
Yep,
So I'm gonna do x
yep,
plus half
yep.
bracket x minus 3.
Yep,
And then next time I'm just put
equals.
equals 0.
Okay,
And now I'm just going to
okay, so you're right, you could foil this, and you're going to get a whole bunch of fractions, or you could multiply this whole thingamajig by 10. Do you see why I might want to do that? Do you see why? Because you would get rid of your fractions, right? And if you multiply 0 by anything, it's still 0, so you wouldn't change the right side. But if you multiply it by 10, you could get rid of these fractions. Right? So if we multiplied this by 10, we would get 10x plus 5. Multiply this by 10, 10x minus 6.
So, sir,
Yep.
say if we had that like on a test or something, right? And then we like say we didn't put the 10 and we said that was fully factored, like we wouldn't get everything positive.
No, this is fully factored, yeah, but we don't want factored. We want standard form,
Oh.
right? So now we have to multiply this out. Right? So we would get 100x squared. I guess it really depends. If you like big numbers or you're okay working with fractions. We get negative 60x and positive 50x, so that's negative 10x. And then we get negative 30 equals 0. So that's your standard form. And then you could divide this all by 10. And we're going to come back to 10x squared minus x minus 3 equals 0. I'm guessing that's what we would have got if we worked with the fractions.
Does this say 10 squared x?
10x squared.
No, like on the other side.
Where?
Oh wait, that's the page.
So if we wanted, let's work with fractions here. Let's not do this multiplied by 10. This is what Jed's gave me. We'll work with this. Because I think you're going to find, actually the fractions is probably easier. X is equal to negative 1/2, and x is, oh sorry. We want standard form, so we're not solving for these. We want them in standard form, so we get x squared, and then we get negative 3 over 5 x, and positive 1 over 2 x, negative 3 over 10. Equals 0. Okay, now you do need to find a common denominator here to deal with these fractions, right? So we say x squared minus 5 times 2 and 3 times 2, we get 6 over 10 x plus 5 over 10 x minus 3 over 10 equals 0. Next, we get x squared minus 6 and positive 5 over 10 give us negative 1 over 10x minus 3 over 10 equals 0. Okay, now if I multiply all of this, that's the answer. You could stop there with fractions, but if I multiply everything by 10 now, I would get 10x squared minus x minus 3. So I get the same answer. So it really depends which way you want to go to deal with that fraction. You could have just left it here. That would have been correct. But you're dealing with fractions and common denominators. Here, if you multiply by 10, you would have got rid of those fractions from the beginning. Either way, you would have got the right answer. Okay? Jeds, you good with that? Any other questions? Almost, we're going to finish. We got this. We got this. We're going to... page. This page. I think that's, is this the next page?
Yes.
It is? Okay. Solve by factoring using structure. All right. Okay, we need to factor this now. So we are 4x minus 7 squared plus 8x minus 14. I'm not sure what this means, using structure. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't taught that yet. Let's skip this one. I gotta come back. I'm not sure what this is referring to. Yeah, let's come back. The area of a rectangle is given by the equation this, where W is the width in centimeters and A is the area in square centimeters. Determine the area of the rectangle when its width is 5. All right, well, if its width is 5 and we have this expression for area, we can just sub in the 5. Okay, so if we do that, we get area equals -2 5 squared plus 18 times 5. So we get -2 times 25 plus 18. 18 times 5 is 50 plus 40 is 90, I think. And then we have -50 plus 90 is 40. So our area is 40 centimeters squared. Okay, determine the width of the rectangle when the area is 28. So in this case, we're subbing in for area now. So we have 28, and then we're going to solve for the width. Okay? So let's put this into standard form and factor. We can get the width. Plus 18W. I'm just going to put the 28, negative 28 on the same side. Any questions there so far? Next, I can see that -2 can be factored out because they all have a -2, so I'll take that out and I'll be left with this. Okay, if I divide both sides by -2, this actually goes away, so I'm left with W squared minus 9W plus 14 equals 0. Okay, so now I want to factor this. I'm going to rewrite it up here. Okay, so if we use our crisscross method here, we get W and W, and 14 we can do 7 and 2. Can we use 7W and 2W to make -9W? Yes, they both should be negative. And these signs come in here. So we get W minus 7 times W minus 2 equals 0. W is equal to 7, or W is equal to 2. All right, why does that make sense? Rectangle that has to have an area of 28. How could your width be 7 or 2? Does it make sense? Does it? Let's just talk about it a second here. If I have a rectangle, that's 2 and that's 7. Can I have, where the 2 is width, can I also have a rectangle that looks like this?
Yeah.
Where I call this the width? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how a rectangle can be either side. The width dimension? That's why it's 2 or 7. Make sense? If I were to solve for the length of the rectangle, what do you think I would get? No. Length of a rectangle. I'd get 2 or 7. Same thing, right? It's just depending on what you call the length and what you call the width. Does that make sense? All right. I think I'm losing some guys here. I'm going to try and go a bit quicker here. A person standing close to the edge on top of a building throws a baseball vertically upward. Okay, so here's the building. This little person is on close to the edge. And he throws a baseball. There's my baseball. Throws it upwards. Okay? The quadratic relation, this models the ball's height above the ground in feet and seconds after it was thrown. How high is the building? So it wants to know the height of the building. Okay? When the initial value here, t is 0. Right before he throws, he wants to know the height.
That's the roots, sir.
Sorry?
That's the roots, right?
That's what? The roots, yeah. You want to know the roots of where the ball lands, where the ball hits. Right here, the ball is going to actually go lower than the building. So the roots are going to be a little different here. Right? How high is the building? Anybody have any ideas what to do here?
So will we solve for T?
Sorry?
Will we solve for T?
Yeah, solve for H when what? When time equals... Time equals 0, right? Because right before he throws, he wants to know... Sorry? You have the answer? Are you telling me the answer? Yeah, it's 300, right? Because T is 0, you're going to get 300 for the height, right? So how high is the building? So when time is equal to 0, H is equal to 300. And we know that because we subbed in 0 for T there and 0 for T there. So we get 300. And it's in, what, meters? In feet, so 300 feet. How many seconds does it take until the ball finally hits the ground? So here we need to find the zeros because we want to know this X measurement, which is measured in time, right? In this case, it's not distance, it's time and height. Okay, we want to know the time when H is equal to 0. So what do we do there? We set H equal to 0 because that's when it's going to hit the ground. And then we need to solve for T. So the first step here would be to divide each value by 20, negative 20. I'm going to get 0 equals T squared minus 2T minus 300 divided by 20. 5 times 3, is that 15? Negative 15, I think? Yes? Yes, no, maybe? 300 divided by negative 20, is it negative 15? Okay. Alright, so now we have this equation. We need to factor it. We can go straight to this because we don't have an A value. We need two numbers that multiply to negative 15 but add to give negative 2. That would be negative 5 and plus 3. So therefore we get T equals 5 and T equals negative 3. Why would it be negative 3? Negative time. We can't have negative time. But you can see here, because he's standing on the building, the other end of the parabola at the height of the ground would be negative 3 seconds back. I hope that makes sense. You guys understand that? He's actually throwing like halfway in the parabola. Right? He's up here. This is at T equals 0. He's thrown. So you get this parabola where, so when it hits the ground is going to be when T equals 5 seconds. All right. Any questions there? Yep.
That thing's covering it.
All right, we're gonna stop there. Your homework is up here. Right there, that's your homework. The bottom of page 1. Now, I'm gonna stop this.